Manasseh had, a big game statistically anyway, maybe the biggest game or one of them of his career. What did you see out of him on Saturday and, particularly after the week that he went through?
I mean, there's no secret, there is no secret. Manasseh's the leader on that defense, and he plays with great tenacity. He's one that when you say you want a defensive player that runs sideline to sideline, he moves sideline to sideline, and he's very passionate about football. He is, and if you watch him practice, when he does practice, just pay attention to his body language. He really cares about it. And so I think you see the production, from his overall general understanding of the game plan, overall general understanding of how offense and how the Cal offense were to attack us. And, to see him put up numbers like that, for me, it's no surprise. You just, you kind of, my heart goes out to Manasseh because you have a performance like that and then you come up short. And so I watch him every day, and I've watched Manasseh grow as a player and grow as a leader, and even being able to overcome the distractions of last week. It just really speaks to who he is, not only as a football player, but as a young man.
Bright was having a really big game before everything, and then Key came in and basically stepped in for him. Can you just talk about their game overall?
From that position, again, those guys are playing some good football, Bright and Key. And when you look at the future, of the roster of this team, it's very bright. I mean, that's a little innuendo. But it is bright to see those guys line up and play. They played physical. And I think that's kind of where Bright got in trouble, a little too physical, which is a head scratcher for me. But I'm very pleased with Key Wetzel and his development to date. If you look at his contribution on special teams, he's been a major factor on kickoff coverage. And you look at where this team ranks, nationally and within the conference. Just in that special team that he's on, again, you put him on the field defensively, and you kind of see it translate. Again, those are the things that I speak of, and that's why I stay positive, because I know what's here. And so when you say learning how to win, just hold on to your seat, and I get it. The season, it's underway. Everyone is excited about it, and now this, right? But you have to understand the process, and along the way, certain things may not go as planned. But again, there is a very, very bright future in Beaver football. And if you look at it, you're talking about those players. You're talking about Bright. You're talking about Key. There's some other guys in key spots. But the fact still remains that, Bright and Key are still going to be major factors, moving forward. Arizona, because Bright will be back second half. And now Key Wetzel will have the opportunity to display what he's displayed all season long on special teams, his ability to come in a game and make a heavy impact, on defense.
Coach, you talked about going through game planning, film, put the system in. Do you approach it any different when things are the way they are, the way the season has gone with the players and the changeover and the losing? How difficult is it to get these guys' interest up as you're heading down the backstretch of a tumultuous season?
Well, I only speak from experience, and I only offer advice, in those Monday morning meetings. But, do you change the game planning? Do things start to become tailored to where you are? Absolutely, You don't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. So things will change and have changed, because at the end of the day, you have to put in place something that that's different, but it can't be too big of a change, right? Because it still has to be about the players and what they're most comfortable with doing. And you look at it, the season has not produced the numbers, period, that anyone, staff and players alike are content with or happy about. So it's my job, again, to be transparent, with the players and to keep them moving forward. And, the talks that I have is understand this, okay? If this is the hardest thing that you ever encounter in life, then guess what? You've had a pretty good life. But you have to understand that you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to play a sport week in and week out that less than 3% of the country's population can. And not only that, you have the opportunity to play a sport to transform lives. And that's powerful. And what you never want to do as a player is you never want to take that for granted. And you never want to look ahead, too far ahead, and you never want to look back. When you do look back, what you should always aspire to do is learn. And every instance that we've encountered as a team, as a staff, and everything that's gone on, these are lessons, life lessons that are invaluable into a lot of these players. And you never know how heavily these scenarios and these situations will impact the lives of these young student athletes beyond, graduating from Oregon State. And so you always have to look for the lesson in it. And once you connect that, you connect with them and they can see it, because at the end of the day, it's not what people thought. It's not that you're going to go out there and get embarrassed in the second half. It's not that you can't stand toe-to-toe and swing with people. That's not what it is. Okay, so now, we got to pay attention to the fine details, of our day-to-day lives. Those things matter. Those things have everything to do with winning. Now, why? Because the dress rehearsals, did we really pay attention to them before, right? Did you really? Were we focused, or did we think because of how we ended last season, everyone was supposed to just jump out of the way and say, hey, Oregon State, how they finished, this is how they're going to start? No, everyone is in preparation just like you. So I guess that goes to your learning how to win question, right, Carrie? But those things are taught. Now, again, there are organizations that do a great job of, when you come in and you first enter an organization or a program, you bring awareness to that, right? And how you do that will heavily impact your team. So now, you stand at the tail end, like you said, of a tumultuous season, and you have the schedule ahead of you. And, well, what do? Right? It's fight or flight that kicks in. So I challenge not only our players, our staff. I challenge you. Well, what are you made of? What's your makeup? Because when times get hard, this is who you are. This is who you are. It's not the fake bravado, right? It's what you're doing when no one's looking, how you're preparing when no one's looking, and then that's going to be evident. So I connect because I make them understand that I know. Can't hide from me. I've seen it. I've seen it from front and back. And so they know I got their back. And I'm going to continue to push them. I'm going to continue to celebrate them. And I'm going to continue to support them. and I'm going to continue to expect their best. And they should expect their best from one another, from each other. So that's how just moving forward and, preparing. There's a lot of football left, and you never quit. You never quit.